Hi, my name is Jill White-Huffman. I'm a licensed professional counselor as well as a marriage family therapist, and I'm located here in Greensboro, North Carolina. One of the things that I'd like to invite you to do is certainly visit my website and take a look at my Facebook page. I tend to try to write about topics of just different issues and different concerns that I either work with in my private practice or just some of the things that I've researched and studied over the years. So I do like to share that information. Hopefully it's helpful to you. If it's not, then certainly you may know someone that could benefit from this information. So please, I do invite you to visit, again, my website and my Facebook page. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is depression. Many of us struggle from time to time with depression, and what people will tend to think if they're struggling with depression, that there may be something wrong with them, that they may have some kind of personal weakness or some kind of character flaw, or maybe it was something that occurred throughout their upbringing that's caused them to be depressed, and maybe those are some of the factors, but there's not like telltale signs or huge indicators that, hey, this may be why you are depressed. Again, there's so many reasons why we may become depressed. And so I think the biggest thing is just to really understand when it becomes a problem. So people will ask, they'll come in and they'll use that word depression. And I'll say, well, why do you feel like you're depressed? And they say, well, I'm sad and I cry all the time, or I, just feel just hopeless and very worthless. And so those are some of the indicators, or that would certainly indicate that a person could be experiencing some depression. But the biggest thing is, how is it disrupting your life, and how long has it been going on? Because everyone struggles from time to time with depression. It's actually been estimated that nearly 19 million adults each year do have some type of depression or experience some type of depression. Sometimes it's misunderstood, or sometimes it could be misdiagnosed. I think the biggest thing that I look for as a counselor is that, how long has this been occurring? Is it just one day because it's situational, or maybe a couple days, or just a week, or has it been going on for weeks at a time, and it's really disrupting the things that you need to get done on a day-to-day basis, and that it's disrupting your whole well-being. There are some major factors that's believed to play in the role of depression. So these may be some of the reasons people do experience depression, of course, as we age, and, then our brain development changes. So there could be different regions in the brain that may cause some depression because of the changes that are occurring as we're going through different experiences, life experiences, and transitions, even developmental changes that go on as we age. Of course, genes, depression, is sometimes thought of as something that can be inherited. So a lot of times, or it could be learned. So if you've had family members that you were grown up around and they experienced a lot of depression, then you may be a little bit more prone to it because of how they sort of model some of their behaviors. Of course, medical problems can certainly manifest depression. Some of the medications that you're taking, of course, could certainly manifest depression. Some of the hormonal changes that people experience. So it could be, when women go through the change of life, which is menopause, premenopause, then of course postpartum depression, as a result of having a child, just some of the thyroid issues that go on with our bodies as we change. So some of those hormonal imbalances can certainly trigger depression. Of course, seasonal, what's called SAD, SAD, is a form of depression. And typically this is when we don't have enough daylight in our days because, we know that daylight and sunshine is really good for us, and it certainly helps a lot with well-being. So, when the days are shorter and we don't see enough sunlight, people tend to sometimes, feel a little bluesy or struggle with depression. And then even with the seasons changing as the climate changes. And so not only sometimes even with the depression, but if you struggle with major chronic pain issues, sometimes they tend to manifest. So they kind of go hand in hand. And then, of course, with, stressful life events. And so that could be trauma. Say you're struggling with a loss, or maybe there's some transitional things that's happening in your life. Maybe, you're changing jobs. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you're starting a new career. You just had a baby. It could be all kinds of stressful events that could happen. Of course, financial problems would certainly sometimes cause some depression for some individuals. Of course, if there's something that's really happened, like some huge stressful event that's taken place, and it's caused a huge impact or change in your life, that could certainly bring about some depression. So those are some of the reasons or roles that may happen in our lives where researchers are realizing that they can be contributor factors to depression. Some people ask me, they'll say, Jill, how do I know? What are huge indicators? Again, as I mentioned, if it's disrupting your life and it's been going on for a long period of time, you're experiencing a lot of sadness, you're tired, it's just really hard for you to complete tasks, it's hard to stay focused, you lose your attention very, very fast. You feel guilty. Sometimes you may have a little bit of suicidal thoughts or even ideations. Sometimes it's disrupting sleep. It's hard for you. You sleep too much, or maybe you do not sleep enough. Eating, you may eat too much. You may not eat enough. Of course, if you feel like you're starving because you're eating an excessive unhealthy foods, that may be a sign of depression. Anxiety, when you're isolating yourself, when you're restless, you're worrying excessively, and just your thoughts are not really clear. So, and then sometimes excessive pain, of course, will again cause some depression. My name is Jill White-Huffman. I'm a licensed professional counselor, a marriage and family therapist, and I'm also a licensed massage and bodywork therapist. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with lots and lots of individuals. In my private practice as a massage therapist, I've worked with just so many different chronic issues. I've worked with people that are just enduring a lot of stress. I tend to use a lot of different modalities. People will ask, Jill, what do you most specialize in? Of course, you'll be able to visit my website if you have an opportunity, and it'll tell you some of the things that I work mostly with, the modalities that I work and techniques that I work most with. But I will say, I don't call myself one particular therapist. I tend to try to work with the body, with the different needs and the different elements that you express, and those areas that I feel as I am working on the body that may need some help. So it just depends on what's going on, is the technique that I use. As a licensed professional counselor, of course, you'll see that about 98% of the population that I work with are couples, but that does not negate that I do not work, that I will not work with individuals, because I do work with individuals. I work with individuals with just all types of issues. People come into me because, they're making some life adjustment situations. They may be encountering some stress related issues, adjustment, some grief and loss. I work a lot with depression, anxiety, and some of the PTSD as it relates to just some of the traumatic events that have happened in people's lives, or as it relates to, say, postpartum depression, or some of the infidelity issues that people have struggled or are working through. So, again, I do encourage you to visit my website. I have a lot more information there where you can learn more about me. And also go over to my Facebook page. There's so many different topics that I write about, and hopefully there's some tips that I can share with you, some things that may be helpful to you with different issues. So as it relates to something physical, as it relates to something emotional, or it could be mental, emotional, or physical. So again, rush over, look at my Facebook page, and I hope you'll enjoy reading some of the topics. Now, I hope that the segment that I'm sharing today has certainly been helpful to you. If you've got any questions, do feel free to call me. The number, it's 336-855-1860. 336-855-1860. Thank you.